Hi Aries, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is King of Wands. This King of Wands card, if you look at it, it appears like the person, at least to me anyway, it appears like the person is climbing while also trying to balance. So I see this with whatever it is that you're doing, you have some type of goal, there's something that you're climbing, there's something that's being accomplished, there's progress that's being made, and it does also feel like you have to sort of watch the way that you're shifting your weight around. I'm also seeing the Empress here too. When it comes to fire energy and also having Venus here as well, it can be utilizing your fire in a way, utilizing your inspiration, utilizing your passion, your motivation in a way where it's doing what you want it to do. This also means to sort of prioritizing when you have that, when you're using it. There can be something coming up about balance as well. I'm seeing Justice on the bottom of the deck. When we have King of Wands and the Empress, it feels like we want to do something, we want to make something, we want to create something, we want to take action, like there's something that we have to birth here. And when we have the King of Wands, this is about taking the initiative. And the Empress is about whatever you're going to be creating or exuding or emanating by taking action, by showing up, by doing something. And King of Wands is also a card of readiness as well. I'm ready to create this. I'm ready to make this. I'm ready to make this happen now. Okay. This can be a project, a creation, a work of art within your life that you want to move forward with. It doesn't have to be like an actual tangible piece of art. This can be about the way that you are moving through your life and making it look the way that you want it to look. That you are responsible as the artist, as the creator within your life. And it does feel like something is moving forward now. For those of you that you're literally creating something, like maybe you're making a film, or you're creating a piece of pottery, or you're taking photographs, or whatever it is that you have that's going on here, now can be a time where you can forge ahead with this. If you were getting stopped, like you didn't have the materials that you needed before, or something wasn't together yet, or you were waiting for the inspiration that you needed, now can be a time when like everything falls into place as far as the magic that's needed for the process, so you can feel like you're not being delayed anymore, like you can go and create that thing, or you can go and express that thing. It's a time now to move forward with this, so you're not stopped anymore, if you'd been feeling like that before. This looks like something you've continuously been working on. I want to clarify what the Empress is. The Empress can also be an idea that you have too, of I have a vision about this, and if I'm the one behind it, I sort of get to create that, be the architect. Interesting. The Empress is being clarified by the Tower. Oh, but I'm seeing Six of Swords. This feels like something that could have been really high voltage or really intense or really shaking you around, now settling down. It feels like the worst is over. You've been going through something that could have felt really like it plucked you even from what you had going on, where you were just sort of at the mercy of this thing that was happening. That's kind of the way that this is coming across. I'm seeing that things are settling down now, so you've already hit the height of whatever that was. And it would have felt like something that was most likely very difficult to keep your balance through that. It could have felt very chaotic when that was happening. And I also get the sense that it was outside of your control. Like there was something going on. It feels like within your environment or something. Having this be here in this way. Like now you just have to be dealing with this. But now I'm seeing things settling down. This can be a big understanding that's happening as well, of like this big thing happened and you felt like it completely had your undivided attention, what this was. And now it feels like there's an understanding of this. And it feels too like there's a moving forward now. This can be something that erupted even. Something that surfaced. This is actually meant to shake and move things so they can come back together. Like I'm actually seeing this get rid of obstacles that were there before. However, it could have felt like this thing that was happening was an obstacle, but it's actually meant to take down other obstacles. Strangely enough, it feels something ironic like that actually. Okay, having 10 of Swords and having 8 of Swords. 10 of Swords is when something happens that can feel really crushing to go through, and it can be something that makes you feel like you really need to catch your breath going through that thing. It's something that's really difficult on many different levels, especially a mental and emotional level can be. And then after you go through something that feels like it really knocks the air out of you, there can be this feeling after of being stuck just because of how difficult something was. The feeling that this is giving me energetically is when you go through something and it feels like a really intense situation where you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this or not, and you like just barely make it through. Sort of sitting in the aftermath of that occurring, it feels like that intensity of like knowing that you're out but still you like just barely made it and you're still catching your breath and you can feel kind of stuck in that moment. It's like when you have these two things that are coming together and it's like a hallway that you have to run down, and if you don't run fast enough it's gonna like squeeze you in between and you just made it out. Like it may have even like pinched the rest of your shirt off or something like that, and then you make it out and you're like, okay, like I actually made it out of here but just barely. Like if I had tripped back there or something else happened, like I wouldn't have made it through. And it feels like that moment where like all of the adrenaline that was coursing is still kind of there, but then there's the relief of making it out, and then the realization of what just happened, and then like all of the energy that you had to exert doing that, and you realize like now that I'm not running anymore, I'm realizing how much energy I just expended. And it's that moment of realizing like how depleted you are after that, and then you can be feeling stuck because of it, because you're like just going through this. So then you can feel kind of stuck. It can even feel like a little bit of a game over moment as well, too, sometimes with the 10 of Swords. maybe with the King of Wands and the Empress and the Six of Swords, maybe there's this part of you that knows that, I don't know if maybe something happened before where you were trying to create something or make something and that didn't happen, or things didn't go according to plan. And now you're in this position again where with the King of Wands and the Empress and the Six of Swords, it's like, if you want to create something, if you want to make your life yours, now is the time to take initiative and to do something. But maybe based off of something that you've recently gone through, you can feel like you're finding it hard to tap into that aspect of your energy. I'm almost seeing this little, I feel like this Ten of Swords is giving context. I feel like this Ten of Swords is giving context. Hold on, I need to look this up really quick. Something is coming through about I had a number just come through, and it says that it indicates that your repetitive thoughts, ideas, and urgings from your higher self are indicators of the next steps to take and are offering you solutions and or the answers to your prayers. And it also says new spiritual and psychic experiences are changing the way you view yourself and the world around you. Now is the time to reflect, meditate, study, and accrue spiritual knowledge and wisdom. So I'm seeing part of this, for some of you, have to do with that. Overall, I definitely get this. When you see the King of Wands, it's this clarification that you are ready. And when it comes to the Empress, this is about when you have that blank canvas in front of you, what are you going to do with it? It's going to stay blank unless you do something with it. And when you start moving, you're going to feel like you move forward. Even after a time where maybe the last picture that you were trying to make didn't really come out the way that you wanted, something happened. This can even feel like you were in the middle of creating something and then it caught fire. And then you could have been like part of you that doesn't want to create again because of what just happened. And then tapping into that part of you that's like, this is endless. You're never going to run out of this energy. And there's just more and more to make and more to do. And that's the only way to move out of this feeling of not wanting to do it. I almost feel like this opposite action type of thing taking place here for you. I'm seeing a brand new chapter that you have. A lot of wisdom being gained. You're also learning about your values too. You're learning about your Venus energy, it seems, throughout this. Having Page of Swords below the Empress. The Empress has to do with, in this context, it kind of feels like if you have an empty house, the Empress is feeling like what you would make it look like, how you would decorate it, what would you fill it with, what would be there if it could be like the epitome of what you'd find to be beautiful, and that being reflective of what you want within your life and the way that you want to be moving through. And I feel like you're learning more about this. Like this chapter that you're starting feels like it's all about your Venus energy as far as what I'm seeing here, and you exploring that, which is like you get to have the taste now, you get to have a say now, you get to have these preferences now about what you want, and you can make this whatever you want. When we have Ace of Pentacles and we have the Empress, it shows that there's so much fertile creativity within you, and that when you have that blank page of the Ace of Pentacles, you get to do whatever you want to it now. It's like a completely blank canvas. And at first you could have felt thrown off by that because of maybe whatever you felt like you were in the middle of before. And now you're being brought back to a place again where it's kind of like the reset button has been hit. And now what are you going to do with this? But I wonder too if this is also about the coming to terms that now you're back here again, but you're also not back here again. You're in a place that you've never been in before, but it can feel like that I'm at the beginning of something once again. And I wonder if that's throwing you off. But that's also going to be about your perspective too, because if you're looking at a new chapter as being a bad thing, as being something that you're not allowing, it can feel like there's just going to be a lot of resistance that you will feel. Maybe you also feel like there's pushback for what you have going on, because I'm seeing this King of Wands be connected with Five of Swords, and this has to do with what's going on in your head. And I feel like how you're internalizing things and perceiving yourself, and maybe even what you're capable of. Like it even feels like maybe a little bit of a self-esteem thing here. With King of Wands and Five of Swords, this is about doing what you feel inspired to do, I think for the right reasons. Because if you're doing things in spite of other stuff, that's sort of what you're going to reap. But when you're doing something from a place of wanting to like give and create and see materialize, it's going to be a different thing. Like there can be some type of fixation even on like some type of negativity or something like that. I'm only saying that because I'm seeing the Five of Swords here, and I feel almost like you're in a chapter where you're supposed to be open to learning and questioning things and looking around and finding things out. And when you have that Five of Swords there, it can be this feeling like, I don't want to ask the question because how are people going to look at me sideways then if I'm asking that question? It feels like one of those times when you're meant to be asking questions and you may not be raising your hand because you don't want somebody to think that you have a stupid question. It's like one of those times, and you can be looking at that within yourself and asking like why that's something that you're focused on. Why is that something you're paying attention to? Why is something that is a beautiful curiosity that is allowing you to explore your life with an open mind, explore this chapter with an open mind right now, why is that something that's being criticized? Why is that something that you're feeling insecure about, or however it feels for you? You can also feel the energy maybe of somebody around you that's heckling you, but also too, like if that is the case, why is this something that is taking up so much of your energy? Why is that? Why is there so much of a focus on that? Can be the question here. So whether you're perceiving the Five of Swords as being your own energy, this internalized criticism, or you're seeing this as being somebody else's, it feels like regardless of the form that it's taking, this may be an energy that you're going to be moving on from altogether. And yeah, if you feel like this is somebody outside of you, it can be somebody that you've been looking for support from, or looking to for support. And you may not be doing that anymore, so you can not feel like you need to be hung up on this anymore, because it really does feel like it's not allowing you to explore this new chapter openly because of this energy looming around. And you can just not give it your focus, you could just not give it your energy, and then it doesn't have to be a thing anymore. And that can be something that you're working with. I do feel like maybe in the past or when you were younger, you could have been you could have been criticized, or you could have had some type of experience, unwanted, unpleasant experience about being curious and about asking questions and wanting to learn when you didn't know something yet and you wanted to understand about it. It feels like it's an energy, like a karmic cycle that's associated with that. Meaning, if you had like somebody around you that knew things maybe about a certain subject or didn't even, and you're asking them questions and they're getting triggered and like shutting you down, so to discourage you from being curious because they have their own insecurities about that. Like, you can be asking an adult when you're younger a question, and maybe there's somebody that they feel insecure saying, oh, I don't know, like, let's figure it out together, and they like leave you feeling like it's not okay for you to ask questions or be curious about things. That can be something that you're seeing be repeated now, that you're still experiencing, and it can be a cycle that you're still working with here. And this is something that I think has you question yourself when you want to charge ahead, when you want to take action, when you want to do something, because there's that discouragement from finding things out and from learning and then taking initiative, and then feeling like maybe you're not well prepared or something like that. And because you're shying away from finding things out or asking questions or saying what needs to be said or having that conversation with that person. And then there's this insecurity when it comes to taking action. I don't feel prepared. I don't feel ready. And now I feel badly for not knowing these things, when really it's supposed to be an invitation for you to be curious and explore, and you can actually feel triggered by that. When you're supposed to go into an environment and go explore, like you've never seen this stuff before, and rather than looking at that and being like, yay, this is so exciting, I get to learn, this is more like, now I feel this about myself because I don't know the answers already. But it's a new chapter. You're not supposed to have the answers already. That's the point of it being a new chapter. You're supposed to find those things out. So how do we march ahead given this experience that we're having? How do we not allow the Five of Swords to hold us back? Because this Knight of Wands here, this is about connecting with your energy that's ready to forge the way, and see the magic that happens because of it. I'm seeing that things are going to be successful if you keep that fire within you and you keep moving through. I'm seeing something really coming together here. We have Knight of Wands and we have Four of Wands, and this means that things really can come together and be the way that you want them to be. But you're gonna have to take initiative here. You're gonna have to stay focused on what you're trying to do. And you're also gonna have to work with the difficult mental stuff that you're working with to move through this. I think also this is about taking ownership as well. Like, yeah, the genesis of you having these certain issues and hang-ups can definitely be, of course, something that you experienced when you were younger, but now you're at a point where this is something that's being perpetuated, and this situation is bringing it to light for you, so you can actually close those cycles out, so you can dissolve that. And so you can actually have what you want here with the Four of Wands, which really feels like your aim. Like, I'm taking initiative and I'm having this new chapter so things can come together and be the way that they're supposed to be, so there can be balance and stability and harmony. And so my efforts are going into something where it stabilizes the structure. And that is something that I want. That is the foundation that I'm attempting to build here. And so looking at this like an invitation for you to build exactly that, while also working with all of your hang-ups while you're going through this. But I'm definitely seeing if you really take initiative here and you really do this and you follow through and you listen to your heart and you focus on yourself and what you're trying to create here, it really is something that you can do, I'm seeing. Even after all you've been through. There's also, too, what looks like an insecurity. When I say insecurity, this feels like if I paint this thing, somebody's gonna have something to say about it, and you can be listening to your own self-judgments. And I'm wondering too if this is just reliving something that had happened, that there is a fear about that occurring again because of how bruising that experience felt, only to work through it and have things come back together again and actually be what you want them to be. And that is what's possible here within this cycle. Taking action, learning as you go, and being open to learning. And also not knowing what you're doing sometimes and being willing to find out how to do the things that you want to do. Rather than being discouraged about not knowing something, seeing that as an invitation to figure it out, to find out. And that's how things move forward, and you're not going to have to stay stuck anymore like this. Having Knight of Wands connected with Eight of Swords, Knight of Wands is the part of you that needs to push ahead and move forward and stay focused and not let anything knock you. And that Eight of Swords is that, like, you getting in your own way here in your head and then sort of retaining that energy so it's not moving anywhere. When this energy like really wants to go, it really wants to have somewhere to go, and your thoughts are basically blocking it from moving. And so removing that block so you can move forward now with this. And align with the cosmic energy. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.